Okay, greetings everyone. Thank you for joining. I see, let's see, I think we have 4 people in the lobby right now. There were more than 5 earlier, so we're gonna give it a few more seconds for others to join. By the way, this session is recorded, so everybody gets to watch the recorded version as well. And let's see, I'm about to send one more email, and then we'll pass the microphone to Jen and Carrie. So give me just a few more seconds, okay? Okay, I guess we can get going, and then whoever joins can watch the recorded session, whatever they missed. So thank you so much, everyone. I wanted to start the session since I'm the technical guy behind this. However, I'd like to pass the microphone to Jen and Carrie, the founders of MyVocabulary.com. Jen and Carrie, please, if you can do a welcome for everybody, and we will go through the agenda for today.
Great. Thank you, Ridvan. We're delighted to have our first webinar and express our willingness to help and tell a little bit about how we have gotten going over 17 years in creating MyVocabulary.com. A quick background: this is my sweet wife, who is the teacher, who's the teacher and the hardcore person who edits and thinks like a teacher. And I'm the guy that started in the late 80s drawing vocabulary comic strips. And after a graduate degree from Stanford with a minor in English, I was lucky enough to get this beautiful woman next to me, who in fact not only has a language degree at Northwestern, but a master's degree in teaching. So the combination of the two of us decided after my vocabulary, drawing vocabulary comic strips, that all of a sudden we heard about the internet in 1997 and decided that that would be a perfect vehicle for us to create a business, because in fact it was free.
And one of the most exciting things is that we were going to be able to work as a husband and wife team. We were certainly well aware, even in the late 90s, that vocabulary was a very weak issue. And the one thing teachers needed was to have some vehicle that would help them understand that there were other means for them to get good vocabulary instruction, quality content that would be free on the web, that would help primarily with literacy and reading comprehension. So we studied an awful lot of the research, tried to decide what would be best. The single most important thing is for us to have created something where teachers weren't doing something else, have something that was done for them so that they could go ahead and begin right from the beginning teaching the Latin and the Greek roots.
And I grew up in a family where vocabulary was always discussed around the dining room table, where I grew up in Chicago for 21 years. And that fascination with understanding vocabulary because of the Latin and Greek roots, having taken Latin in high school, sort of stayed in the background for 20 years until all of a sudden it exploded into, hey, let's create some vocabulary puzzles. And then the internet came along. So our goal has always been, and actually, I don't know, Ridvan, it would be smart to just talk about sort of how the product has, how we created the product, or is this a good place to stop for a second?
Sure, yeah. So we have some greetings from people. Thank you, everyone. They're saying hi to you guys. So, and yeah, so I guess before we dive in, to the product, I wanted to see so everybody can have a feel on what it takes to keep MyVocabulary alive. What are some of the weekly activities and for you guys that have enriched MyVocabulary with all these words and creative puzzles that people are using across the globe. And later on, we'll get into some of the stats, which are amazing, and then do a demo of the puzzle management tool. So if you
I'll let Carrie.
No, I was going to let my teacher start.
I was going to say maybe I'll let Carrie begin, but one of the things that we felt were important were not only to create word puzzles that were done at grade level, so that we use a readability index or a frequency of use index to create puzzles that span in the early stages, or what we call beginner in the lesson plans, from 4th grade to 6th grade. The intermediate are 5th grade, our 7th and 8th grade, and then the advanced tend to be more for high school. And yet with all of that, I said to Carrie, well, it's very important that we try to address not only differentiated learning, so that we have different types of activities to address all of the different learning styles in the classroom, but also different kinds of activities, such as maybe word lists for the ESL teacher would be extremely important. We wanted to address the high school by offering SAT and ACT, and even address questions. I don't know whose phone that is. Ridvan, is that you?
Yeah, it's okay. We'll cut that part.
Okay, so one of the things that we did, and I'll have Carrie explain when we were talking about the matrix that we developed, is that in the lesson plans, we include 8 different activities for each of the Latin roots. And Carrie, maybe you would
sure.
like to take that.
The question is, reflecting back on learning vocabulary as a young man, was so many people have just used vocabulary lists as a way to learn that. Here's the card, and flip over, there's the definition. And we know that's not the way to remember a word. The research suggests that you have to encounter a word 6 to 20 times in different ways for you to possibly own the word. So when we analyzed what our product was going to look like, we came up with the idea that have enrichment activities, multiple enrichment activities, because some people might like word finds, but other people like definitions. The teachers seem to like not only the focus on the roots, but the definitions. But yet synonyms and antonyms are important, as is true and false. So net and bottom line, we have 8 activities in our root word lesson plan, and all of the vocabulary words are grade level. We took this readability index from 8 publishers covering thousands of words, and every word that you see in one of our puzzles on root word lesson plan is a grade level specific, as Jen suggested.
And what is so interesting about that is, we started out very small, but there are now 2,500 pages of free resources already created for all of you, which is really something that's just, it's amazing that we have been able not only to create it ourselves, but obviously we talk to an awful lot of teachers, sometimes with the vocabulary that comes from the most often assigned novels, plays, and books. The teachers would write in and say, gosh, you have something for The Tale of Two Cities, but you don't offer anything on Shakespeare. Sometimes teachers would offer to give us their vocabulary. So this is very much a give and take. At the time, perhaps there were only not 670 vocabulary word lists as there are now, but maybe 125. A teacher wrote in and said, I'm getting so much information from your A to Z lists. I'm using them in a variety of ways, but you don't have anything on automotive mechanics. So I wrote back and I said, you know what? I can't make a whole lesson plan for you, but if you'll give me 24 hours, I will develop something for automotive mechanics. And I did. So we do try to do that.
If you check on the web, on the 167 word list, there's automotive mechanics. The significant thing behind that comment and Jan's comment and Jan's thrust is she's a teacher. She knows exactly that teachers don't have enough time. She knows that, in fact, they want something that's simple. If it saves them time and they can integrate it into their enrichment program with their teachers, that's fabulous. And we have gone over the last 10 years to multiple conferences. I'm sure we've met some of your peers, if not you, at either ISTE, the old NEC, AFCD, TCEA, Texas, 4 years, the last 4 years, FETC. We live in Florida, so getting to Orlando, the FETC is an absolute treat. And we listen to the teachers, and in fact, we evolved from an EAL-focused Latin and Greek roots just as it relates to root word lesson plans, but this is across the whole curriculum. You want science words with roots in them? We have 17 different science categories. If you want sports with the bowls coming up and everything else, go click on football, and there are football words. Kids can learn roots in words doing crosswords or interactive puzzles for just football. So anyway.
And the nice thing about that is it is a slightly different twist. I always felt it was important in the classroom to have a hook to get the youngsters, and most of my teaching career was in the high school, but I also taught in the middle school. But to have it, to obtain and keep a student's interest, that was one of the things that was most interesting and most helpful to us.
Great. By the way, so the questions, there's been some questions that are related to what you guys are just saying right now. And all the questions are being listed in the little widget area inside ED on Go. So I will read out the questions for you guys.
Okay.
Since we are in that topic, the first question is, do you create puzzles for anyone, or do you have a narrowed audience? So something you guys just covered briefly.
The puzzles are for anybody to use, but what we find is with Common Core, whether you like it or not, Latin roots, prefixes, suffixes, morpheme, they have to be introduced at some point in time. So the specific audience tends to be 4th grade through 6th grade, 7th and 8th grade, and high school. But as I say, my kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade teacher really use the word lists that are not done at grade level, but they take the words that they need. The ESL teachers say it is so terrific that they're able to take vocabulary, for example, about household items, and they can go ahead and play games, anything to encourage, better understanding.
The answer to the question vis-a-vis is the puzzles for everybody. A good example of that is there are 165 novels for which we have provided the vocabulary. 20 or 25 of them, we have multiple puzzles in our format of sometime between 6 or 20 puzzles you have to run into. Well, 1/3 of the 165 novels the vocabulary has been provided by teachers like yourself. And if you send us a vocabulary, because the community overall really should be interested in Moby Dick, we'll post Moby Dick.
Not Moby Dick, that's way too hard. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
A separate piece or whatever. Because the idea is, if we can create a community and y'all can share together, this is the best. This is making a difference. Being one of those 1,000 points of light that in fact can really, really help teachers using their own creativity. We create it, we save you time, You come in, you access it, and then you put your credit, your own, you manage your own puzzles, your own creativity. God, and that's a great way to go.
I hope that answered the question. What is it? You have another question for us?
Yeah, we now have 7 people, by the way, and we have 2 more questions. One of them says, do you have a referral program for the puzzle management? If I refer 5 other teachers, do I get mine free?
Gee, that's a great idea. It's so new to us, given that we've spent 17 years working on making all the content, the 2,500 pages we have, for free. And in fact, we have over 140 countries around the globe who in fact use our content. Yep. Obviously the US is the most important, but you go to India, you go to Canada, you go to France, et cetera, et cetera. So we've always had it free, but go ahead.
But the answer to the question is, when we were working with EDU on Go, there was a lot of discussion about, well, with this brand new management tool that we are offering for $5 for a school year, that is such a small amount of money to be able to take all the resources that we have. You get to create all your own words. You can modify it. You can make it better. We're always certainly open to changes too. So we certainly encourage you to have 5 other get 5 other teachers to sign up, and anytime you can pay the $5, we would be very grateful.
And actually, it might be that those you recommend myvocabulary.com, creating your own puzzles in the whole breadth of from beginner all the way on up. You might ask them to pay you $5 to sign up.
Here's the funny thing: the same teacher is asking, do you have a place we can just donate money? As I see you guys are doing an amazing job. So I guess he wants to also donate money.
And the answer is yes, you can go ahead and sign up, and Ridvan can explain to you how that it is possible to do that. That's very kind.
Yeah, we've had 2 teachers come up and say, I love what you do, and I want to pay a lot more than $5 in good work. And actually, I've seen on, if you use Firefox as a browser, the front page of Firefox is, hey, contribute just $10 and it would really help us. And if you go to Wikipedia today, there's a question on Wikipedia that says just $3, 1 cup of coffee, in fact, and we'll be done in our fundraising and sustain it. So maybe we should, in fact, create something like that. But we've been so free for so long, it's so different having even $5 coming to you.
Well, and let me say that at these conferences, that is one of the questions that is addressed the most often, and that is, well, how do you do it for free? Nobody does it for free.
What's the gimmick?
And I think the reality is we are both fortunate. We both have masters. We've educated 3 sons. And this is our give back. This has been a passion from the beginning. Carrie spends more than 50 hours a week trying to do research, come up with new ways to improve what we're doing, making, using the very newest back-end material. We have changed things. Those of you that have been with us the longest know that originally none of the puzzles were dynamic. Then we changed. We spent a lot of money. This is really our 3rd baby, although ironically we have 3 sons, and get ready, 6 grandsons.
It's a teacher time saver, and in fact, it's our greatest pleasure to just be able to think through. And when you open up across the curriculum, the fascinating thing is any topic that lives out there. Let's say you take biotechnology, or you take automotive mechanics, or cross-stitching. There's a vocabulary to that. And in fact, if you can help people understand the vocabulary by using roots, if it's applicable, that's a gift. We're happy to make a gift.
Yeah, I guess this is a good time for us to segue. So I'm going to use a term that I don't use much. Segue to the statistics. I think it's just amazing, some of the activities and the attraction that MyVocabulary has gotten over the years. You guys have to say, would you like to add anything else, or I would like to jump to statistics and show them some of the numbers?
Statistics, and then teachers perhaps may have more questions.
Sure. Yeah, I will keep an eye on the questions. So right now, let's see. I don't think I saw any more, but yeah. So we don't have any more questions so far. Okay, so let me share the screen so we can show some of the stats. Share. Okay. Jen and Carrie, do you guys see my screen?
Yes,
Okay, so the screen will be broadcasted live to everybody, and the screen will come in about 5 seconds late to everybody. So if you see my screen, please, you can type in the chat window yes or no, and I will look into it in about 5 seconds. So however, I will carry on. I think I trust Google, so it's Google Hangout that we are embedding. And I want to start at the sessions, which is the new visitors, the returning visitors. So here we go. We got some comments. I guess people are saying yes. Yep. So we're getting some yeses. So the screen is being shared. Okay. So let's go back here. Where was I? Okay. So I picked a range of date, but if you go anywhere in the months, it's just amazing that some of the activities that the users have inside. So if you look at this the sessions, we have about 15,000 average on the sessions being created a day. So here is December 3rd, December 2nd, so 15, and then over the weekend I think it goes down a little bit, less than 10, but it still picks up, and we have an average between 10 to 15,000, I would say. And you can see that there's a lot of new users that come in to join, and as well as returning users. So this is pretty good statistics on how many people use the system. One thing I wanted to show you also is the demographics. So if I come here to the demographics and go to overview, so here's the age range of people using the system. So if I look at this, we have, I guess we can consider students here on the first tile here. Huh? What do you guys say, Jen and Carrie? 18?
No, I think this more or less, as we all know, most learning will occur when it is teacher directed. So I think the age here of the users tends to be those people who are lucky enough to be in the teaching profession.
Got you. Okay. And then we have majority are coming from 25-year-old to 34. So a lot of young teachers. And then it goes down. So this is the age range. If I go to the next slide here, it tells me the gender. So we have almost 50-50. So we have 45%, 45.85% female and 54 male. Let's see what's the third one here. Interests category. So the top one is sports, individual sports, running and walking. So these are, the people's, I guess, interest that are.
That may be fitness word lists or health puzzles.
And what is interesting about that is very often when we go to the conferences, we will run into people who are teachers who are working in prisons, and they will say, you can well imagine the interest level of the inmates, but what attracts them the most are the puzzles that you offer relating to sports, because all of a sudden they have something that appeals to them. And again, this is what MyVocabulary is all about: quality resources that are going to interest the students, but are very educational and focused on trying to improve literacy and reading comprehension.
Great, yep. Okay, the next item I would like to go is location. So Carrie mentioned that briefly earlier. We have majority of this audience or teachers coming from United States, as you can see. However, you have over 142 countries that are, teachers coming from 140 plus countries. Here it says 187. that use MyVocabulary. I guess I'll let you guys speak on this one if you have anything to say about this list, but this is amazing.
I think, again, because literacy and a use of English is so important, we have tried to address the educational standards in the United States, but in many countries that it is not that different. We did have a number of people, as you can see, in Britain who were interested, and they said, well, I don't know whether I can really use your puzzles because you spell the word color, C-O-L-O-R, but we spell it C-O-L-O-U-R. But amazingly enough, they've been able to work around that, and we've been very pleased with the receptivity.
And my only thought here is, it's just very humbling to think that you've created this and it's global.
Yeah.
Real global impact, helping people learn English.
So the key is tell your colleagues, tell your friends.
Yeah, that's amazing. You have Canada third and India fourth. That's a lot of people from India wants to learn English, it looks like. Yeah, great. So let's see. It will make a noise when somebody says something. By the way, people are not gonna see me here. They're seeing our screen, but there is no.
Right.
So if you have any questions, please let us know. Let's see how many people we have. 6 so far, and Carrie and Jen and Carrie, do you guys have anything else, or would you like me to go and demonstrate the project?
I think if you would demonstrate this new offering that we're so terribly excited about and has been well received, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I agree.
Please.
Okay, great. So as you guys have opted into the email for the box that comes here at the bottom, sometimes it shows, but for me it won't show, maybe because I've X'd out of that box a couple of times. But as you can see here, if you scroll down, there is a section that says Premium Subscription Membership, and this section is about the project management tool. I'm sorry, not project, puzzle management tool that enables you guys to manage your own puzzles. And some of you guys have already probably registered inside and played around with it. But today I'm going to demonstrate the area inside, how to manage the puzzles and what does it mean to manage puzzles. Some of the features inside, but it's a great. This page is pretty informational, or it gives you a lot of information about the features inside. So if you come here, you can watch some of these videos. It will tell you on how to edit a puzzle, add a new student, how to submit a puzzle, etc. Some of the features that I will cover today. And here at the bottom, you can start your own collection of puzzles under your own subdomain. So you have your collection with a unique URL that you can share with your students and others. And if you sign up here, it takes you through 3 steps. First step is you give your collection or your school a name. And I already created an account for demonstration today, but if you give school name, subdomain, the second step will ask you some personal info, name, last name, email, and password, and then it will take you inside the platform. So let me pull now here. I created a demo account for us. See if I can find it here. Sorry, MyVocabulary. Okay, I have this here. It's okay for you guys to see my password as well, because I will close this account once we're done. Okay, so I am inside here, and once you create an account, you will land. So after you come from the 3rd step here, you will land into a page that looks like this. You'll see a logo of EDU on Go because the platform, the puzzle management tool was built with the EDU on Go platform. However, you can change that if you go under themes. So if you go here, you can change the logo, the login logo, as well as the background image. So you can personalize this to your own look and feel. Here, by default, you will see the list of tiles, which is to manage your puzzles, manage your students, the account settings, manage your profile. And then if you have any documents that you'd like to share inside, once we get to the puzzle management tool, then you can hook up your Dropbox or Google Drive and manage your documents. And I just mentioned the themes. So I am going to dive into the puzzles tile. Here you will get a set of puzzles that are already made for you, and they are organized into different categories, as you can see. And if I go to the first one here, here is the puzzle management area, what we call. So to the left, you have the navigation, and you can add more items into the navigation, and you can look what's inside by clicking here, module page. But I'm going to skip that, and I'll just talk about the 3 different menus that we have here.
And Ridvan, just one thing, anybody who's already familiar with myvocabulary.com knows that this is the format from which puzzles can be selected.
Right, exactly. Yep. So the coloring of this page and the format looks pretty similar to what you guys are used when you go to any of these here.
Right.
I guess when you go to one of the pages here. So pretty much now you have this inside. So if I click on one of these, now I have my own set of puzzles. So this one is cloned for your academy, so you can edit the puzzles inside, you can add more puzzles, you can delete puzzles, and then at the end you can get a printout of your customized puzzle page. And it's pretty simple, straightforward. You have at the top a big button that says add puzzle. If I click on it, it will go through a form that will ask me to give a name for the puzzle. If you want to have a background color, so if I hit X, you can see the background color. See these colors that you have here. You can adjust that. So, and then you have directions and clues. I guess Jen and Carrie, you guys would know more about this side, and Stephen has worked with you guys on this. But this form is pretty straightforward, I believe. That
it is, and in fact, it's very similar. That rather than default to ours, if you created a page on the right-hand side that had the directions that already exist, you could certainly do that. But sometimes it's clearer to just a teacher add your own quick words and get to the puzzle straight up. But you're always going to have that Common Core orientation. Every puzzle strand, every puzzle that we do specifically suggests the Common Core strand that the puzzle addresses. Whether, as Jan said, you are in love with it or not, the fact of the matter is, if you create a puzzle, it's always nice to know exactly what strand it addressed and what grade.
Great. Yep, and you can also edit one of the already made puzzles. So if you go below any puzzle, you can see a format. Before you create your own puzzle, I would suggest you come here and hit the edit button. You can see how the puzzles that you see here. So the ones that you see here, how do they look like? So if I come here and scroll down, here is some of the words. So verdict, and you tell the system what is the right word. You can give it a clue, a sentence. So much like what you used in the myvocabulary.com website.
And Ridvan, one thing, if you do not like the word verdict as a use for the DICT root, you can change that. But if you go all the way down to the bottom of the page, let's say there are 2 more DICT words that you like, you can add that and make the puzzle not 12 words, but 15 words, or you can make it smaller and make it just 8 words. The idea is allow you to customize, to unleash your own creativity for your puzzles the way you want them to.
And for your need, right?
And your need, right.
Yep, this is great. This is really cool. So, and then, I don't want to go through all of the buttons here, but you can see that you can remove a puzzle or remove a word from here, add an extra word, and then submit this, which will draw the whole page of the puzzles that you have here. So we're talking about this section here below. Click submit button at the bottom of the page to answer the question. So I guess then you would invite students to join the puzzles that you've created. Let's see, there seems to be a question or somebody writing. Somebody's writing in a different language.
Right, I understand that, yeah. Let me see. No, that's too hard for me. I don't know what that is. I'm so sorry.
Or French.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I can handle that.
Okay, so I will. It will make a little noise, so that's how I find out that people are writing. So I'll just keep going until I hear the noise one more time. And we have a discussion area here. So this is where your students and you as the teacher or the administrator of the puzzle can collaborate with each other. So everybody here can leave notes. So if we say hi there, or if you have a question about a specific puzzle, and others can like it, comment on it, much like in a social network environment. And every puzzle has a closed community that people can collaborate that specific puzzle. So I think this is being used by a lot of the teachers that use a puzzle management tool, where students ask questions, and if you ask a question, you can vote for the right answer. What do you think? So if I come here and say, what do you think? And some hint, and I share that, when I click on it, others can type in the answer. I think it is whatever, dictionary, or and others can go ahead and vote. So students can vote on the right answer, and the teacher can approve, saying, yes, you got it. So it's a very interesting collaborative area for that particular puzzle. So if I go to the other ones, you notice at the top here, I can hit the drop down, and I have the collection of all the puzzles that I got for $5 a year. Can you imagine that? It's amazing how all of this work for such a low price. Just amazing what Jen and Carrie have done for us. And if I come here, this one has its own discussion area. So people can talk about different puzzles inside, or different categories of puzzles inside each discussion area. Let's see, I think people are writing. I got a little late to the webinar. I just want to ask program source description. So we're talking with the founders of MyVocabulary.com, and we're talking about the puzzle management tool that we have released for MyVocabulary. And we talked about the brief history about MyVocabulary, how it came about, what does it take to keep MyVocabulary alive, and the activities. We mentioned some of the stats. So far, that's what we've been talking about. So one of the teachers joined a little late.
We do have a video too, right?
Yeah. I think the best thing is for anybody to give it a try with the project, the puzzle management tool. I think you will find it very useful. So if you use MyVocabulary for your classroom activities, now you can take the puzzle management tool inside your class and invite your students and customize it to as you wish. That's it from my part. Jen and Carrie, do you want to add anything else to this?
No, just that we really appreciate your attention. We're thinking soon we would like to do another webinar If you think that's a good idea, why don't you just indicate that in the chat? And thank you so much, and we wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah. So,
See you again.
all right, guys. So let me see if there's any more questions. I think I went away from. Give me 1 second. Let me go back to the webinar. I went away from that class real quick. Here we go. So doesn't look like there's more questions. There's still 6 people. Thank you everybody for joining the webinar. We will inform about the next scheduled webinar. This one, however, is recorded. So for people that have missed today's webinar, I will follow up with an email so you can watch the recorded version. Thank you, Jen and Carrie, so much.
Thank you.
Our pleasure for sure.
And we'll hopefully do another one soon. So goodbye, everybody. I'm
Happy
here.
holidays.
Bye.
And Jen and Carrie from Florida. So see you, everybody.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.